Hey, good morning. I'm glad you're here on this frosty New Year's Eve day. I'd like to take a moment and just remind you or urge you to check in on your people. Do a quick buddy check. Check in on your brothers, your sisters. Check in on those wearing the uniform and those that once wore the uniform. If you Google the most common date for suicides to occur, it's January 1st. There's a dramatic spike in the number of suicides on the 1st of January. Now that could be 12:01 a.m., it could be 5 a.m., but it's January 1st. That's why it's so important to check on your people. You know, a couple years ago, I wrote a poem called I Was Almost 23, and I was pretty proud of it. I mean, it was creative, and it was the first poem I actually did research prior to writing it. As part of that research, I watched a documentary on suicide survivors. And in this documentary, this guy was telling his story about how he was on the Golden Gate Bridge and he was going to end his life. But he told himself, and this is the importance of the buddy check, he told himself that if anybody stopped, just one person, if just one person stopped him and asked him, hey, how are you doing? Then he wouldn't jump. Well, somebody stopped him. But they didn't ask him, how are you doing? They asked him to take their picture for them. So he jumped. And in this documentary, he's telling his story about his injuries, and obviously he survived, but some of his thoughts. And that was part of I Was Almost 23. So I'd like to share that with you now. Now, a lot of it's true, but some of it is creative liberty. So this is I Was Almost 23. 22 years and 10 months. I was almost 23. I knew I could not stay, and I was praying to leave. When I decided to end it all, I was almost 23. It was 220 feet to that frigid water below. That's about 4 seconds of regret, should I decide to let go. When my hands left that rail, I knew I'd made a mistake. Free falling through nightmares, but I was wide awake. The faces of my loved ones flashed right before my eyes, and the hurt that this will bring to my son and my wife. In those final seconds, I didn't truly want to die. I hit that water so hard, it felt like a shotgun blast. My lungs had been punctured, and I nearly severed my back. I heard the angels sing, but also that old devil's laugh. As I was drowning in that ocean, I began fighting to live. But with all of my injuries, I was not able to swim. Some say it was a dolphin that had kept me afloat, but I know it was the hand of God that helped me to that boat. I was almost 23 on the day I tried to die. I jumped from the tallest bridge, but somehow I survived. I no longer view life as a burden, Every day is a gift, and I am reminded daily of what I could have missed. From my son's graduation to the birth of my daughter, they would have felt deserted had I died in that water. So I owe a debt of gratitude to the man upstairs, that his answer was no to my deadliest of prayers. I see my life's purpose through unclouded eyes, blessed to be among the living, with my family by my side. The greatest gift is love, and I'll never try to leave. 22 take their life, and I was almost 23. 22 veterans each day. Thank God I was not 23. 22 years and 10 months. I was almost 23. And that is, I was almost 23. So please, check on somebody. Check on a bunch of people. And if I don't see you again, Happy New Year. I'll see you tomorrow.